Dick Cheney's former doctor reveals basically the real problem with Trump's laughable MRI explanation. Okay, so Trump's MRI slash, medical report has been released, but does it actually tell us anything? Watch this.
He was late Vice President Dick Cheney's cardiologist for nearly 30 years. Doctor, thanks so much for being with us. Walk us through what a preventative cardiac MRI entails.
Well, there really is no preventative cardiac MRI. This is not a standard test for an 80-year-old man to undergo advanced imaging. Of course, the whole note has kind of a weird and defensive, evasive tone to it. First of all, this is not part of the president's comprehensive physical examination. He had that in April, and then he underwent some more testing in July. If you look at his first administration, the president, like most presidents, only underwent one comprehensive physical exam every year. So this comes, completely off cycle. Second, it's filled with euphemisms. Again, Dr. Barbara Bello, the president's physician, states that he underwent advanced imaging. Well, what specific advanced imaging did the president have? Was it an MRI, as the president said? Was it a CT? Did he have both? Why not just spell it out? It's as if a patient came in for a chest X-ray, and then I only told people that the patient underwent simple radiologic imaging. Just spell it out. This is, again, not part of comprehensive screening, particularly, abdominal imaging. Why would someone undergo preventative MRI imaging or CT imaging of the abdomen? This obviously was performed in response to some clinical concern, which is fine. Things happen to people as we all get older, and the president is almost 80. So instead of this kind of evasive, almost laughable kind of note, just spell out what happened. I hope the imaging is normal and great. That would be excellent news. But this kind of piece by piece, drip by drip release of information is disconcerting.
The White House revealed over the summer the president had been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. So with that in mind, what would a CT scan or an MRI be looking for in someone with that diagnosis?
That's a great question, Brianna. So chronic venous insufficiency, if that is indeed what the president has, is basically a benign condition where the valves in the veins in the legs don't work so well, and fluid and blood pools in the legs, and fluid basically leaches out of the veins into the tissues. But swelling of the legs can also be caused by more significant cardiac problems. Some problems having to do with the caricature, with the character of the heart, the heart's muscle itself. And yes, you can use MRI to image the heart, to look for a thickening or stiffness or infiltrative diseases of the heart. So if his team was doing it for that reason, well, that's important to know, and that's a more significant issue than simple preventative imaging. But again, it just doesn't seem to fit with reality. And I think most physicians would basically agree that advanced imaging is not a routine part of an executive physical for a man or a woman of any age.
What would your advice be to someone of his age with the diagnosis that you mentioned, just generally?
Well, again, we don't really know what kind of testing he had in July. It seems like they repeated his echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound testing of the heart to look at its structure and function, and that can often give a good sense for whether swelling in the legs is coming from the heart, or whether something more benign like the chronic venous insufficiency. The concern about that diagnosis, by the way, was that in April, just a few months before they said the president had chronic venous insufficiency, they made no mention of that. They said there was no evidence of swelling. So it's hard to call something chronic when it happens acutely. I think the most likely explanation for all this is probably not so nefarious. And I think it's easy to concoct all kinds of potential catastrophic reasons for lack of candor, which is why it's just best to have the president's doctor come out, answer a few questions, and put the whole mystery to bed. And then we all can move on.
The White House said that the president underwent a, preventative MRI, of his heart and abdomen last month. That term, preventative MRI, as you heard, is what set off alarms for doctors. Okay. This doctor said that, he quote, "There's really no preventative cardiac MRI. Like, it's not a standard test. It's not a thing we do. For an 80-year-old man, and it's not part of a routine, executive, physical." Dr. Vernier also pointed out that the timing makes no sense. Presidents typically receive one, comprehensive physical a year. Trump had his in April. He had additional tests done in July. And this new round of advanced imaging was in October. All of it, basically off cycle with no clear explanation. And then there's the language. The president's physician, I think it was reportedly told the public that Trump underwent advanced imaging. Okay, without saying whether it was an MRI, a CT scan, or both. Dr. Vernier called that evasive. He says, "The point was simple. If everything is normal, just spell it all out. Throw it all out there. It's all normal. Don't hide behind words." He also explained that, preventative abdominal imaging is even more unusual. Dr. Vernier said tests like that are almost always done in response to a specific clinical concern, something that's accidentally found on an image or something like that, or a blood test. Not as a routine screening. The White House has said the president was diagnosed in early July with, I think it was chronic venous insufficiency. I could have said that wrong. A condition that causes a swelling in the legs, I think in the hands as well. But Dr. Vernier noted that the president's April report said there was no evidence of swelling. His question was pretty straightforward. How does a chronic, which means something that continuously happens, condition appear suddenly, just a few months later? And he made one more crucial point. All right, swelling in the legs can be benign, but it can also signal more serious heart issues. That is why transparency matters, guys. And I always say this because without it, the public is left basically with a piece by piece information that's written in 100 different languages that's been erased. And that doesn't help us, and that doesn't add up, right? Dr. Vernier was clear. He doesn't think there's, anything nefarious going on. He thinks that, the best path forward is for the president's physician to just answer the questions. Just answer the questions directly. Close the loop and let the country move on. That's just, I agree with that. If you guys want to see stories before they hit the headlines on your TV, your computer, and your phone, follow me right here at The Take with Jared Zisser on Instagram. I post daily reporting, breaking news, and I am rapidly updating things so that you never are caught off guard and you know exactly what's happening. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to stay connected and informed to the stories that matter, the people that matter, and most importantly, the truth. The thing that is so hard to find right now. And just so you guys know, I do the best that I can to answer the comments. So I really hope to see you guys in there.